Guys, it is New Year's Day and a massive event happened today. Not the earthquake in Japan and not that it's New Year's Day. It is it was finally admitted that Israel cannot take the Philadelphi Corridor. That is the border between Egypt and Gaza. Israel left that in 2005 when they left all of Gaza. They also gave up the Philadelphia Corridor, which is absolutely insane. It's basically the security. All Hamas's arms, rockets, everything comes from there because it's surrounded on all other three sides by Israel. So everything comes from Egypt through huge tunnels you can fit trucks through, all coming from Egypt under the border. And Israel has can't do anything there. Now, obviously, first thing you want in a war is you want to take that border to stop them resupplying rockets and stuff, i.e. last night they fired another salvo of rockets at Tel Aviv because they can, because it just comes from Egypt. It doesn't matter how many Israel destroys, it's pointless because it just comes in. So the first thing should have been, well, we're going to take that border, we'll stop everything supplying in, and then we'll start trying to conquer Gaza. It is 3 months and they haven't even touched 1 inch. So, I said, without this, there's no point in the whole war. There's absolutely no point. You can conquer 98% of Gaza, but they'll still, with the 2%, get arms through and still be able to fight you. So it's pointless, absolutely pointless without that border. I never understood why, and it's finally today became clear. Egypt has to give permission. I don't know how this came about, by the way, but Egypt apparently has to give permission for Israel to retake it, and they've said no. What do you mean, arms smuggling? No such thing. And when an Arab says, what do you mean? There's no such thing. 100% it's happening. Biggest lies in the world. So 100% the smuggling's happening and it's coming through under the tunnels. And so therefore it's a no-win game for Israel. Pointless, soldiers dying for no reason, a pointless war. Now, who are they fighting for? That's the second thing that happened today, incredibly on the same day. Who are they fighting for? They're fighting for the only free democracy in the Middle East, right? Wrong. Israel is no longer a democracy today. And that was because today there was the judicial reform was passed in the Knesset, the parliament, a few months ago, which stopped the judges being able, they don't need a reason to override anything the government says. So government could come up with a death penalty, they could all vote, win a majority, death penalty, and Supreme Court doesn't even need precedent, it doesn't need any other laws, it doesn't need a constitution, it doesn't need anything. It simply can override that. It's called, so unlike America, which the Supreme Court can only judge on the Constitution, cannot judge on anything else. So that's why in America, for instance, gay rights was thrown out, right? Because you can't just rule gays can get married, right? So that was thrown out. Then they passed it through Congress, passed it through the Senate, and then that's it. Once it's passed through as a law, the Supreme Court can't touch it, and gay marriage is now totally allowed. It's enshrined in law in the USA, and the courts have no auspices. They can't touch that law because it's passed by the democratically elected bodies. In Israel, they can override anything without any reason. And that was the reasonability clause that was passed by the Knesset, saying that the judges, Supreme Court, are not allowed to do that anymore. They have to have precedent before. They have to use another law to override something. But if the Knesset passes something such as the death penalty, you cannot override that. They've just chucked that out. They overrode, this is a basic law, by the way, it's like the Israeli constitution. It was passed as an Israeli constitution law. They overrode it. Now, the problem is, unlike America, where the US Supreme Court is appointed by elected officials, in Israel, the US Supreme Court is appointed by themselves, right? We could go through the things, but there's people in the Knesset. I'm just cutting it out for you. They are appointed by themselves, okay? They are self-appointed, and they can override everything in the Knesset. So just to put that in perspective, all of Israel could vote 120 Knesset members who say we want the death penalty. They are all voted in by 100% of Israel. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but let's say it happens. 120 Knesset members then go and say, we want the death penalty. The unelected Supreme Court, who appoint themselves, can override that and will override that. And I've already said they're overriding that and have done that many times. It's not they can, or they do it regularly. They're an activist court. They actively override laws that Knesset passes that they don't like. Israel is now a dictatorship. It's a judicial dictatorship. It's not like a China or Russia, like a presidential dictatorship. Here it's a judicial dictatorship of a very small amount of white Ashkenazi chilonim, not religious left-wingers, hard left people, that if you try and stand up to them, they will do the same. They will do the same as they did with Trump. They will throw allegations at you, corruption. They'll try and jail you. They will threaten you. They'll go after. They'll take over your money. They will destroy your life, right? They will destroy life as they've done to many others. Bibi included. Sharon, they did it to. Deri, they've done it. Anyone who steps out of line, they do it to. But now, it's official. Israel is a dictatorship. Israel is also not able to take the border with Egypt and therefore is fighting an absolutely pointless war in order to protect the interests of that dictatorship. Israel is not a Jewish state. It is a dictatorship of a very small Ashkenazi left-wing elite who have no interest, don't care about Jews or anything.